Greetings, my name is Anshul Sharma and today I'm here to present my analysis on coronavirus. This analysis will include a project overview, data description, exploratory data analysis, some insights, and few recommendations from my side. The first case of coronavirus was encountered in 2019, and by the end of 2020, this coronavirus disease became a pandemic. The common symptoms which were found in people were dry cough, shortness of breath, loss of taste or smell, extreme tiredness, and high fever. Now, why should we analyze this data? The need for data analysis in the health sector was because during corona pandemic, our health sector was in shambles. Not appropriate amounts of doctors were available, no appropriate amount of beds were available, oxygen shortage was there. So in order to prepare better for the future, we are doing this analysis so that we can prepare for the upcoming diseases in the future which might prove to be more fatal than corona. Now I will start with the description of the data which we have at hand. Our data contains columns named province, country, latitude, longitude, date, confirmed, deaths, and recovered. These are the columns of our data where province shows geographic subdivision within a country, while country is the entity where data is recorded. Now latitude and longitude shows the position of those country on the globe. Date is the date time type of data recorded at which recorded the date of COVID cases. Now confirmed, deaths and recovered are the count or the number of cases confirmed, number of deaths confirmed, and number of recovered cases for COVID-19. Now we will start with exploratory data analysis. So the first step in data analysis is regarding checking for missing values. So as you can see, here is the query where we checked for missing values, and accordingly we found that there are no current missing values within the dataset. Moving on to the next objective, we will be checking the total number of rows within our dataset. And as you can see, according to the query we found the number of total rows within our dataset to be 78,386 rows. As for the number of months present in dataset, we can see that in our query we use timestamp def function in order to find the difference between the minimum and the maximum date and naming the new column as number of months. Now this timestamp def function will show the number of months which were present within our dataset. So as you can see, the number of months which we have gotten as a result from our dataset is 16. Moving on to the next objective of finding monthly average for confirmed deaths and recovered cases. In this query, we extracted month and year from the date column of our original dataset and named those independent columns as month and year. We also created new columns named average confirmed, average death, and average recovered, which contains the average values of confirmed deaths and recovered from that month of the year. And then we grouped our result by month and year, showing us our resultant table. One of the most important questions were about how the virus started at which date and ended at which date. So now we are finding inception of virus and its end. So within this query, you can see that minimum of the date will be named as start date and maximum of the date will be named as end date within our data set. So as we can see, the start date was about 22nd of January 2020, while the end date was 13th of June 2021. Moving on, we are now finding most frequent values for confirmed deaths and recovered columns in each month from our dataset. As you can see from the query, we are now extracting the month and year from the original date column and creating index by ordering them in descending order so that the most used number which will occur on the top of the index will be extracted and will be named as most frequent confirmed. Similarly, this index will be formed for deaths and recovered column as well. And then we will group the result by year and month. So as you can see from the resultant table here, that month, year, most frequent confirmed, most frequent deaths, and most frequent recovered were the numbers for each country which were present. Now we are finding the minimum values for confirmed deaths and recovered cases per year. So as you can see from the query, we are extracting year from the original date column, and now we are naming minimum of these columns confirmed deaths and recovered as minimum confirmed, minimum deaths, min recovered, and by grouping them by year and ordering by year, we can see the count that all of them are zero. So in 2020 and 2021, the minimum confirmed, minimum deaths, and minimum recovered cases were zero. Similarly, we are now calculating maximum values for confirmed cases, death cases, and recovered cases per year. So similar to the previous query, we will extract year from the date column, and then we will alias the max confirmed, max deaths, and max recovered as new columns named max confirmed, max deaths, and max recovered. And then grouping them by year and ordering by year, we will get a resultant table where the values is shown as follows. Now we are calculating the total number of cases confirmed, total number of deaths, and total number of recovered cases each month globally. So now, as you can see, we will be extracting month from the date column as we need the data monthly, and then we will sum the cases monthly by making the new columns named total confirmed cases, total death cases, and total recovered cases, and grouping them by month and ordering them by month. So as you can see from the resultant table that the month here is up from 1 to 16, where each month is the from the duration of the coronavirus, and the total confirmed death and recovered cases are shown as follows. Now we will be checking how coronavirus spread out with respect to confirmed cases. As you can see, we are now summing up all the confirmed cases as and naming the column as total confirmed, and then we are taking out average of the confirmed cases and naming it as average confirmed. Then we will be also calculating variance and standard deviation, which will help us to see how the virus spread out with respect to the confirmed case. Similar to the previous query, here we will be checking how coronavirus spread out with respect to death cases. Here we will be summing up deaths and naming the new column as total deaths, while also creating a new column which will contain average deaths, then variance and standard deviation, as you can see below the resultant table. This calculation will also continue towards the spread of coronavirus with respect to recovered cases. And similarly, as the previous two queries, we will be summing up the recovered cases as total recovered, then the average calculation of average recovered, then variance and standard deviation to calculate how the coronavirus spread out with respect to recovered cases. Moving on to our next objective, we will be finding country with the highest number of confirmed cases. As you can see within the query, we are selecting the country column here and then summing up confirmed, naming the new column as total confirmed cases. Now, after grouping it by country, we are ordering our new table by total confirmed cases in descending order so that the highest value which will be in the new table will now come at the top. And by making limit 1, we will be printing out the first or the highest number of confirmed cases which occurred in a country. As you can see in the resultant table, the country which had highest number of total confirmed cases is United States. Now here we will be creating a sort of temporary table which will be ranking country, and in which we will be placing the ranks of the countries. So here we will select country column and we will sum all the deaths, naming the new column as total death cases, and then we will use rank function, and the rank will be over by ordering of sum of deaths in ascending order, and the new column will be rank number. And now we will be using this temporary table for ranking the countries. So here this we do select, then naming the country column, then we will be also calling for total death cases from the ranking country, which is our temporary table which we created previously, where rank equals to 1. So the rank number, which is equals to 1, will show us the number of cases which account to the minimum from the data set. Moving on, we will be finding the top 5 countries which are having the highest number of recovered cases. So to achieve this, as you can see from the query, we will use select, then calling out to country, and the sum of total recovered cases will be named as total recovered cases from our data set, and grouping it by country, and then ordering the resultant table, which is total recovered cases, in descending order. So the highest values will appear now at the topmost, and then limiting it by 5, we can see the top 5 countries which have highest number of recovered cases, which are India, Brazil, US, Turkey, and Russia respectively. Now, after finishing our analysis, we come towards our next step, which is insight generation. So as you can see from the analysis which we did before, we found the high number of confirmed cases and recovered cases in some countries, while we found high number of deaths in some countries, while the low number of confirmed cases or recovered cases within some countries. This shows the spread of virus was uneven throughout the globe, though there were some countries having high concentration of cases while some countries with low concentration of cases. This might be the effect of the government institution plannings regarding the coronavirus, so that the people can get less infected from the virus. Now, in January 2020, we also recorded least count of deaths and confirmed cases, which were 190 and 6,384 respectively. These low values indicate the significant consistency and stability of the virus, and this also shows that the during of starting of January 2020, government realized that the virus was something serious, so they needed to take precautions against it so that less number of people can get infected as well as more number of people can get recovered. Now, few regions witnessed significant increase and decrease in the spread of virus from February 2020 to May 2021, and some islands like Marshall Islands, Samoa, Dominica, and Kiribati had the lowest count of death cases with a total of 0 respectively. Now, after seeing these few insights, there are few recommendations which I found to be good and also helpful in certain situations to government institutions as well as health sector. Now, what are these recommendations? They are: the management should promote the benefits of vaccination to minimize the spread of virus. Then identifying and focusing on high risk areas using regulations such as travel restrictions and quarantine policies. Now, these two regulations must be strict. Incorporating the use of predictive modeling to forecast potential outbreaks and take adequate measures to prevent them. Now, distributing resources like medical equipment, healthcare workers, and hospital beds to areas with greater number of cases in order to control and manage the spread of virus effectively. Plus, it will also control the sentiment of public, leading to the peaceful execution of tasks where public is not in disarray. Now, as we have completed our analysis, I will be ending my presentation here. So thank you for listening to me for these 13 to 15 minutes, and I hope you have a good day.